going to talk about converting your iDive unit from first stage air supply to CO2 supply. As supplied in the box, it comes with this fitting configuration. This is designed to connect a hose from your first stage regulator onto the unit like that. What we're going to show today is how to convert it to CO2 air supply, which uses these small 16-gram cylinders, unthreaded cylinders, to provide the pressure to the unit as opposed to air from your scuba tank. First thing is you remove this locking ring, just rotate it loose. Once that's removed, now you have access to the inner cartridge. Use this custom tool that's supplied here. You can see these two pins line up with some slots here, makes it easier to remove. And you just start to rotate this to loosen it. It takes about 4 or 5 full rotations to remove it. And if you have a hard time twisting it, you can use the provided tool. And once it's loose from the threads, then you can just pull it out. When you pull it out, you want to make sure that the pin comes with it. This is the pin that opens to allow the air in. So this pin needs to stay inside of this unit. You'll notice on one end of the pin there's a rubber tip. That rubber tip needs to be what's installed first and stored like that. Once you remove the air parts, you need to install the CO2 parts. These are the CO2 cartridge parts. It also is a 2-piece unit. It's the housing and then a small pin. On this small pin, on one end, there's a small black rubber tip. You'll notice a circular area on the end of this. That needs to be installed into the cartridge as such, installed first. Once that's installed, you can place this cartridge into the balance module here. You place it in there and then press it. You'll notice it presses in and pops into place. Once that's popped into place, now you need to thread it on. So you use your custom tool again and rotate it. It takes about 4 or 5 rotations to fully seat it. That rotates to a hard stop to where you won't be able to rotate anymore. Then you have your holder for your CO2 cartridge, this large piece here, and a 16-gram CO2 cartridge. You just place the CO2 cartridge inside the holder, line up the threads between the two parts, and thread it on. At first, you'll notice it's very easy to thread. Once the CO2 cartridge engages the housing, it'll be a little more difficult, so you continue to install until it's hand tight. Now the CO2 cartridge is installed, and you can ensure that it's working by pressing this small button here on the top and inflating the housing. Now you know the CO2 is installed and pierced and working. So in order to change CO2 cartridges, what you do is you just remove this black piece by twisting this part off. You need to make sure that all the gas is used up from the CO2 cartridge before removing this part. So if you finish a dive and there's still CO2 left, go ahead and make sure you push the button and vent all the CO2 out before removing the CO2 cartridge. And then just loosen this, and then this comes out with the CO2 cartridge. You can take it out here, and if you just want to use a new CO2 cartridge, just install it here, same place, and twist it back on to reuse again.